Good morning, ASEAN. Freshen up your world, your thought, and your idea with us every weekday from 7:30 to 8 a.m. I'm Patsurang Desha Putharangsi.
I'm also here with you, Weena Dongprasit, and it's Friday, the 15th of March. And our top story today will touch on the populist policies in the Southeast Asian region, Patsurang.
Of course, for example, in Malaysia, there's a new economic policy, or NEPT, that has been there for a decade already, Kun Weena.
Yeah.
But actually, critics said that the NEPT populist policy is often geared toward helping the Malay with the ethnic preference, helping the Malay to easy access to jobs, loans, or housing. But the Prime Minister Najib Razak once said that in order to also gain supporting votes from the non-Malays, for example, from the Chinese or from the Indians, he said that there's got to be somehow a subdivision of populist policy that also helping the non-Malays to also easy access to social welfare, for example, or ease them to do business. And also in Indonesia, President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono once said that subsidies are very important to actually, and he affirmed his speech by giving out a large sum amount, trillions, billions of rupiah to actually help each of the ministries, and to subsidize the food independence, energy cooperation, also social welfare. But for Cambodia, for example, the populism has never been vividly articulated. But actually, in order for the CPP, for the main Hun Sen's party, to actually stay afloat and get, to be a winner again in this upcoming election, also in July, he also has to do some sort of to lift the working condition or living condition of the Cambodian workers a bit, since there's been strikes. Yeah.
Well, in Thailand, the Thai government has already implemented many populist policies in Patsurang, including the first car buyer scheme, where the first car buyers will have to get a refund from the government of up to 100,000 baht, or even the rice pledging scheme, where the government keeps the price of rice at 15,000 baht per ton.
Right.
Now, yesterday there was a seminar on the populist policies in Thailand, and many experts were there to discuss its efficiency. We'll go take a look now at this report.
The few years of the Thai-led government, the spending level for populist policies have raised alarm for most economists, as they are creating accumulative public debt that may affect the country's fiscal strength. Mam Rajawong Pridiyathorn Tewakun, a former deputy premier and finance minister, said the populist policy does not always cause damage to the economy. Some can repay itself eventually, such as the 2 trillion baht infrastructure project, while other policies are detrimental.
Well, the one that's create most problem, big highest loss and a lot of debts for the country is the rice mortgage policy, because it's being implemented wrongly, and even the government doesn't know how to handle it now. Doesn't know how to, and it's obvious that there'll be a big loss, as high as 150 billion baht per year. So that would be a main concern. If we can stop it, then our fiscal strength won't be affected.
He added that at this rate, the Thai public debt could soar by 80% of GDP. If nothing is done to end the contentious policies now, he warned that solving the problem later would be even tougher. Another concern is that the nature of political campaigns has changed to lure voters. Aggressive marketing have been incorporated in competing among political parties. The panelists have agreed that it is quite concerning when populist policy has become an addiction. Politicians now tend to come up with the nice to have rather than the need to have policies. What's more, it appears to be that politicians will not cease to come up with unnecessary populist policies.
In my opinion, the problem with political campaign when they use populist policy is that they only exhibit one side, the side of advantage to the public, and of course, people could be led into believing that they are getting all this for free. So people would be happy, to choose parties offering a big package in terms of populist policy.
While Thailand's public debt now stands at 45% of GDP, the panel is confident that debt could rise above 50% in the near future at the current spending pace. Notably, the Thai government is generating debt amid a fragile global economy. Thai economist Gopsak Putrakul from the Bangkok Bank also warns that with a possible Asian economic crisis set to return in the next 5 years, he is worried that Thailand may not survive as the government has not started saving. With the conclusion of the seminar today, the hope for Thailand's economy is there, but it remains quite dim. Juarawee reports.
The Catholic Church has already announced a new pope.
Yes.
The first ever comes from South America. He's Argentine, right? Yeah. But then regionally speaking, there were many speculations that a new pope could be a non-European.
Yes.
Yeah. But then actually, there's actually a potential contender. Yeah, comes from Philippines, right?
Right, from the Philippines. His name was Luis Antonio Tagle, 55, who is the Archbishop of Manila. Well, he was one of the youngest contenders, Kun Pasurang, of being a pope. Well, the Philippines, of course, is a country with the most number of Catholics in Southeast Asia. Well, yesterday we had an interview from a representative from the Jesuits in Thailand. Thailand has, comparatively to the Philippines, of course, a very small number of Catholics. Now, Father Pitoyo here in our next interview will talk about the new task of the Pope and as well as the Catholic community in Thailand. Let's go take a look.
For sure, he will have a kind of what we call announce what he wants to do.
Right.
But the task is really very, very challenging if you see the world of today with this globalized world characterized by not only consumerism but also individualism, relativism, and this kind of thing that we call instant culture, death culture. And people see themselves more important than other things. So I think his example will really bring good news and power to build this world. Especially, of course, everybody wants to have a peaceful world. So even though we have this very fast technological development or something like that, but we need the other spirit that bring us to really deep down to be more human and also more loving, more caring for other people. And this world belongs to everybody. So justice in the world, peace in the world will be a real challenge.
Let's go take a look at some update from Thailand's sister country, Laos. Well, Lao Prime Minister Thongsin Thamawong has urged foreign businesses to invest in special economic zone in Laos, especially as the government has promised to provide more attractive investment incentives. And this is because actually the climate of investment and business have improved, and Laos has already amended a number of laws and regulations to meet the requirements of the WTO. Of course, Laos already became a WTO member. And at present, actually, in Laos, there are 2 special economic zones and 8 specific economic zones in Laos. And the government offers investors in these zones incentives such as tax breaks and a one-stop investment service. But then policymakers say Laos expects to attract more foreign investment in these zones. And also, the WTO membership will not only make foreign investors feel more confident about doing business in Laos and the laws that regulate the sector, but will also give them access to more overseas markets, since Laos has a policy of, transforming the country from a landlocked country to a land-linked by, of course, transportation, connectivity, infrastructure connectivity, and such, which is actually one of the main criteria when making investment decisions.
Well, moving on to the Philippine economy, Kun Pasurang, as the British bank Standard Chartered has expected the Philippines to outperform other nations in Asia and enjoy just another year of strong economic growth. Standard Chartered said that the country's gross domestic product could grow by 5.8% this year and 6.1% the next. The bank noted that the Philippines' economic growth in the coming years would exceed the country's 10-year average performance of 5.2% posted from 2003 to 2012. The report said the Philippines stands out within the region for its bullish on-the-ground sentiment, whereas we are cautious on momentum in Thailand as the post-flood stimulus wears off. On monetary policy, the bank believes that inflation risk will remain moderate, while Bangko Sentral ng Filipinas may hike key rates only in the fourth quarter as the rate of rise in prices picks up. Standard Chartered said that inflation in the Philippines could average at 3.6% this year, but may accelerate particularly in fourth quarter due to higher food and energy inflation, consumer spending, and base effects. Well, even so, it should remain manageable and is unlikely to breach the inflation target.
Coming up for more news and report after the break.
Welcome back to the program. And in Indonesia, an alliance of labor unions has denounced worker exploitation at several state-owned enterprises, and they are demanding that the government bring an end to such practices and force the companies to comply with the existing labor law. Well, the alliance accused state-owned enterprises of violating the regulations on outsourcing and disbanding unions in an attempt to exploit their workers and enrich corrupt officials within the state enterprises. OPSI Chairman Esta Piv, spokesperson for the alliance, said that the subsidiary companies has recruited workers and employed them on a contract basis. The workers were paid below the provincial minimum wages and were not registered with state-owned insurance company PT Jamsostek.
Just recently, Vietnam's Deputy Defense Minister Nguyen Chi Vinh has expressed his hope that ASEAN member nations and Japan will enhance links to ensure maritime security and comply with the international law. Vinh actually said that countries must adopt a proper awareness of regional security, especially the interpretation and application of 1982 UNCLOS, United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, and standardized behavior to international law in an open and transparent manner to ensure maritime security and safety as well as peace in the region. The discussion was mainly about on the emerging risks of maritime disputes, which actually, the implication is that between Vietnam and China and Japan and China, the maritime disputes are still ongoing. Well, this requires a settlement via cooperation based on international law and the 1982 UNCLOS.
Urbanista today will take you to a book fair on a ship. Wouldn't you love that, Kun Pasulang?
Yes, definitely.
Let's go take a look.
Sawadee and welcome to Urbanista. We will keep you updated with what's happening around Bangkok and metropolises within ASEAN region. And if you are a book lover, today's edition is especially for you because we will take you to experience a wonderful journey on board the ship Locust Hope with the world's largest floating book fair. Welcome on board, and today I'm so delighted as the Locust Hope, the homes of the world's largest floating book fair, has already arrived at Bangkok port in Thailand, and now it's time to take you to experience a wonderful journey on board.
'Cause 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 'cause
Logos Hope is operated under GBA Ships, which is a non-profit organization in Germany, promoting international understanding through cultural exchange programs, community service initiatives, and of course, floating book fairs. The ship carries a multicultural crew and staff of around 400 volunteers whose purpose is to bring knowledge, help, and hope to the people of the world. Among all of the activities at each port, the highlight would be the world's largest book fair. And this time in Thailand, Logos Hope opens her doors to welcome book lovers and offers a stock of 500,000 books with thousands of titles available, covering a wide range of subjects, such as science, technology, sports, hobbies, cookery, the arts, social sciences, and languages. Urbanista receives a very warm welcome from all of the crew members, and we are also privileged to have a personal tour guide for this journey on board in the world's largest book fair.
Hello everyone, my name is Nadine and I am all the way from the beautiful South Africa.
Being a volunteer in the ship after graduating her high school, Nadine volunteers herself to take us to the book fair.
We have different books on board. We have novels, for instance, especially I think we shared, like our director shared, he shared about, that we really focus on education and especially English, as English is such a, such a language that is well known over the world and where it is so important.
A large selection is devoted especially to books for children, and every effort is made to ensure that local language materials are available for each port visit. Among wide range of the book selection, Nadine shares that cookery is one of the most interesting among visitors.
Because we all love food, and I think that's something I've learned on board is food unites so many people, So I think that's something we also focus on.
But for Nadine, geography is something she loves the most.
For me, I think the interesting is the geography, because it's so exciting, we visit these countries and then you can see the pictures and then, oh wow, I've been to that country. Yes, I think that's my favorite.
In the book fair, there are not only various kinds of books that you can enjoy, but also some souvenirs that you can keep as your memory.
Here is our souvenir tables. You can get the big poster or the badge, I think. This is just the introduction about Logos Hope story, notebooks and pens, postcards that we have, and a cap. This is a donation that you also can make. You fold the little ship and then you can put a coin in to support the ministry.
Through events and programs in each port of call, crew and staff have the opportunity to share their experiences and culture with the local community. At Bangkok Port, the event called International Night will offer cultural diversity through international songs and dances. And for those interested in practicing English, an event named English Cafe will offer fun activities that allow visitors to do with English-speaking crew members.
I am Captain Tom on the Logos Hope, and I would like to invite you to come down and experience the book fair, go through our journey of life, try the ice cream on the iCafe. I'm sure that on board this ship there is a book for you waiting.
You will experience different cultures. You will experience a great deck on board the ship where we sell amazing books, and I would really encourage you to come and visit the Logos Hope and meet people and make friends and visit our iCafe. I think it will be an experience that you will never forget. It's an experience that I will never forget, being on board and being part of the crew. So I do encourage you to come visit us.
That wraps up today's edition of Good Morning ASEAN. We'll see you again, same time, same place, same channel.
And catch us again 7:30 to 8 a.m. on กรุงเทพธุรกิจทีวี I'm วีนาจงประสิทธิ์
แอมกวางพระสุรังเดชาพุทธรังสีสวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ